We spend a lot of time at the Tummy Team talking to clients about the difference between common and normal. A lot of times we feel like just because something's common, it's the same as it being normal. And for instance, one of the things that we're going to talk about this week is the fact that pelvic floor weakness is not necessarily normal. It's super common for women after they've had a baby or even as they just grow older to experience some weak pelvic floor symptoms. For instance, stress incontinence or urgency incontinence. Both of those are like leaking urine. Stress incontinence is leaking urine if you cough, sneeze, jump on the trampoline, running, laughing, that kind of thing. Urgency has to do with you just can't get to the bathroom in time. And it's so common, and if you don't believe me, think about all the products that are out there for women that are experiencing this, all of the different incontinence products that are being developed because it is such an issue. Well, just because it's so common does not mean it's normal. We have found that over 75% of the clients that we see at the Tummy Team that experience these symptoms can resolve the symptoms with core training and pelvic alignment training. Most of the time, if you think about your pelvic floor, the floor of your core being weak, the pelvic floor is the floor of the core. So your core wraps around and the pelvic floor is the bottom. So if your core is weak, everything drops down into the bottom. And then that muscle that's supposed to support the sphincters down there and support the bladder where it's supposed to be are low and saggy. And so when we work on core strengthening and pelvic alignment, a lot of times the symptoms that you thought were normal and that you just had to deal with resolve themselves. So I just want to encourage you that just because you think it happens to everybody doesn't mean it has to. And I'll tell you just a little story. When I was working on rebuilding my core, when I was first figuring out things in my own life, I remember starting to realize that the pelvic floor symptoms I was having were related to my core. And I remember telling my husband that, because we talk about all these things, telling my husband that, I think I need to invest in some work to fix this problem, but it's an investment and I'm not sure we can afford it and all this stuff. And my husband just looked at me straight in the eye and he said, I don't know what is wrong with women. If a man was wetting their pants for any reason, he would spend the money to fix it. And that's sadly the truth. Women just think we need to deal with it because everybody deals with it, but this would not be an issue if we addressed it like our husbands might address an issue that's going on with them. So it was just a realization of how I looked at myself and what I thought might be important and not important. I'm here to tell you just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal. A lot of times pelvic floor weakness is core weakness and poor pelvic alignment, and we can help you fix that. All right, that's your Motivation Monday. Don't live with things that you know that you can fix. Thanks so much. Have a great week.